That sound big? Like a boom!
I'm pretty sure that you can't say that because the Costco guys have copyrighted the word boom.
Oh, have they? My apologies to the Costco guys. We're here! Sunday night! The Sunday before Christmas 2024. That's right. Again, we are delivering as we always do, as we are promised you we would, as we are committed to, because you guys pay good money to see us every week, and 10 million of you are watching right now, and obviously that number will go up, way up. As you saw from the thumbnail.
Wait,
please,
Jeff. We're supposed to look like this. Remember, we started doing this.
We
decided it was better.
Listen, getting detained at the Canadian border is not fun, and obviously you can understand how I forgot about a few things here. So if you can actually be kind,
is it true you were going to visit Scruffy in Canada for the holidays?
Can't confirm, can't deny.
Okay.
That's all I'll say. Anyways, yes, as you saw from the thumbnail, we are talking DC Comics. We're going to get into I wouldn't say a deep dive per se, because we're not prepared for that. But Joshua has some thoughts and some words to say, to express and say. So it is episode 208. Yep, 208. I thought you stopped me again. I apologize. And this is a really cool one. Dan De La Torre brought it to our attention. Because we all discussed what we would like to share for episode 208, the featured episode issue. And that is the Green Lantern Corps number 208 from 1987, titled Red Lantern. Kilowog travels to the Soviet Union, where he assists the Russians in developing the Rocket Red Brigade, a team of armored soldiers. This collaboration leads to tensions with his fellow Lanterns, who are concerned about the political implications of his actions during the Cold War era. The issue explores themes of loyalty and the complexities of international relations with the superhero community. Joe, I want to point out there are a lot of people that say things like, comics, they're for kids. They don't talk about politics. They don't get into that stuff. Yeah. Now we're trying to get all woke and things like that. But this is 1987. So we're talking, 37 years ago, Joe? And right there you have it.
I mean, you can go back to the 1940s and Captain America #1, he's punching Hitler in the face. And there's tons of political implications in comic books throughout the entire history. In fact, pre-superhero, the platinum age of comics, which doesn't get talked about a lot because superheroes really brought comics to the forefront, at least in as far as the sense of the current comic book community and stuff like that. But yeah, you make a good point. Politics have always been there. Political messaging and things like that have always been there. And this is such a cool cover, and it's you don't think to see like a hammer and sickle on a comic book, and it's interesting because usually when you saw stuff like that on comics, references to foreign powers like Russia and Japan and Germany, Italy, World War II era stuff, and anything communism related, it was often like a very negative implication. Here we go with Kilowog going to help Russia in this situation. It's definitely a different take on things, and definitely kind of cool seeing this character that is not a earthbound character. This is a cosmic character for sure. Kilowog, going to do that, kind of lending a helping hand to another country, just as someone who was helping Earth, helping humanity.
Yeah, that's probably how Kilowog sees our planet, as Earth is just one big community. And obviously that's not quite the case, unfortunately, these days. But again, really cool issue. Dan De La Torre gets props. We don't like giving him props, but this one was well deserved. All right, Joe, we're just going to just dive right into this pre-Christmas show, pre-holiday shit, because Hanukkah is the same night as Christmas. You got Kwanzaa, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that happen. I'm Jewish. I don't remember when the last time that happened. So it's pretty cool.
Is it the first night of Hanukkah is Christmas? Oh, that's it. So yeah, like that's
crazy. Like
they overlap a lot. They overlap.
They do overlap from time to time. But
the first night being
just I don't remember this. So anyways, again, we didn't do anything kind of holiday themed, unfortunately. Don't hold it against us. We were too busy running around with our daily lives, which has been crazy for everybody. I'm sure you all are dealing with that as well. However, the one man that actually heads up our news on Comic Book Canon is the news editor, Joshua. Hello, how are you, kind sir?
Gentlemen, how you doing tonight? I'm doing good.
Do you have an announcement you'd like to make before starting the show?
Don't think I did, but if I did, maybe remind me.
Is about crypto.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I do. So if anybody's looking to pick up some crypto books, I have a $500 bundle of non-crypto keys available. Now the price is $500 and it is shipped. So
obviously, he spares no expense too in his promotional campaign right there. You know, obviously,
I feel like free shipping is, the best I can do to get some extraordinary, amazing keys in the hands of the fans.
Huge keys,
because the trailer was awesome. So,
well, we're going to get into that in a hot sec. We have some other things to get to first in the news, so why don't we just dive right in?
Yeah, so let's start with some MCU. We got our first official look at the Fantastic Four family. So Jeff pulled up. So yeah, I really like this design. The Thing looks very comic accurate, based off of the other movies. I think Johnny looks great, and then I wasn't too sure about Pedro as Reed, but honestly, he looks pretty good. And I'm excited for this. I know Vanessa is gonna be a great Invisible Woman, and so yeah, I can't wait to see this. This is our first official kind of sketch look at them, and I would imagine we're gonna be getting a trailer probably within the next month or so. So yeah, I'm excited.
This looks awesome. I'm super psyched about The Thing. I love how you almost have a early Fantastic Four, even Golden Age, Joe. You probably agree. I'm sorry, early 60s Johnny Storm, or even a Human Torch from the Golden Age. So I love this look right here. This really gets me excited. Joe, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just 2025 is going to be I keep saying this over and over, such a make or break year for comic book superheroes, both the MCU, which has been treading water at best, with a lot of their releases, coming out with Fantastic Four and having, a new major group of characters come to the MCU, and then DC with Superman. It's going to be a really make or break year, really make or break month, because both those movies come out in July. It is, I think. I personally really like how they look. I also was someone who questioned the Pedro Pascal, being oh, he's getting it because he's been with Disney, done a bunch of Disney movies. He's hot right now off of Last of Us and Mandalorian and stuff like that. But yeah, he looks good. The whole team looks good. As long as the story is good, I care far more about the story than the special effects or the actors or anything like that.
Yeah, that's true. I can't agree with you here that it's make or break for superhero movies and things like that. I don't think they're doing that bad, but I do think that their improvements are coming, and I think the companies know how much they do need to improve. Otherwise, the genre will take a hit big time. I don't think it's even taking a hit, because you're still getting people to go out and see Craven, even though it did poorly. But you know what I mean? I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. It has taken a hit. Whether it's taken a hit for one reason or another, we're not seeing, obviously the last really big hit movie that we saw was Spider-Man No Way Home, which was 2001, December 2001. So 3 years ago at this point.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That was the last really big hit that we had. Now that there weren't good movies, but the studios care about making money.
Yeah, they want to cross billions of dollars.
Exactly.
$1 billion each film.
I don't think there's been another $1 billion. The Batman, but no MCU movies.
Yeah.
So, Batman was under 700.
Really?
Yeah, it made 760, I think, something like that.
Well, it was with the mature kind of theme to it. I think they kind of anticipated not, even though Deadpool.
Oh, Deadpool, yeah, Deadpool.
Deadpool was
Deadpool hit $1 billion.
But
Sure, yeah.
talking DC though, again, we're gonna get into it in a little bit. But well, there's Immortal Scruffy actually right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving up. By the way, like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. 15 million people watching right now. Excuse me, sorry. Next up, we have another MCU little news piece.
Yeah, this was actually spoiled by Denzel Washington not too long ago, actually beginning of November. But Black Panther 3 is moving forward. It is confirmed. Nate Moore is set to produce. Ryan Coogler is back as well. And Denzel even just said that he called Ryan up and apologized for letting the whole world know that he's going to have a role. And Denzel actually confirmed he's going to be a villain in this film.
That's dope.
So I kind of, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that, especially at Denzel's age. I would imagine it's going to be a one-off appearance. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I'll be honest with you. I did, enjoy Black Panther 1. Black Panther 2, it was a little bit up in the air for me, but I'm kind of hoping maybe, technically Black Panther 2, they kind of we had to reshoot and they had to redo the storyline due to the passing of Chad and everything. So I'm hoping that Black Panther 3 can move forward with a good story. And Denzel, anytime Denzel is in something, Denzel brings his A game. So, I'm expecting him to be one bad mother in this movie, if you know what I mean.
I saw Gladiator 2. He was outstanding. Joe, you have some thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, we have seen the best of both worlds. We have seen A-list actors, phenomenal talents come into superhero movies and crush it. Most notably, at least recently, Colin Farrell. Come on, give this guy a round of applause. A-list actor for sure. Incredible talent, came in, killed the role. We've also had some characters come in and really flop, whether it's the writing's fault for the movie or the actor maybe just kind of phoning it in for a paycheck. I think one of the biggest flops recently, an actor that I love and that a lot of superhero fans love because of his time as Batman, is Christian Bale, who came into the MCU as Gore the God Butcher. Immense amount of hype around that. That movie did not hit. Now, I will say, I thought his performance was great, but at the same time, the movie did not do well, and the character is one and done and forgotten at this point.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. You even pointed out the Marvel's character was kind of pointless. The Marvel's villain was pointless as well. Gore wasn't pointless. We just wished we got a more accurate depiction. He was almost comical at times. So
yeah, just in my opinion, the movie was not good.
Yeah,
like, the writing for him was like every time he was on the screen, it was good. It's the same thing with Carnage in Let There Be Carnage. When Woody Harrelson was on the screen, or as Carnage, or as Cletus Cassidy.
Cletus,
yeah. He, in my opinion, that was the best, 20, 25 minutes of the movie, but unfortunately he wasn't in it a lot.
Yeah.
Thor actually was like almost a 4-hour cut. And apparently Christian Bale had like almost 2 hours of footage into that film.
Wow.
And they cut it down bad. And that, Marvel wanted to have like an under 2 hour film, and they did what they did. And unfortunately, much as you may love Thor or Love and Thunder, it was a big letdown.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see Denzel enter into the Marvel universe. A lot of people are saying he could possibly be Tattoo, who first appears in Black Panther 1 from 2016. This book on the left. So exciting to see who he will play. Another hot character out there that people are wondering who will take the reins, who will be cast as this person. Go for it, Josh.
So this next piece of news we're actually going to talk about, it's something that I think Joe's really excited for, and I think I'm excited for, and I think if you're a Stranger Things fan, you'll be excited for this. So Sadie Sink is reportedly in the running for Jean Grey in the MCU, and I got to tell you something. I think this is a great casting. if you've seen the last episode or the last season of Stranger Things, Sadie is a fantastic actor. She also played in The Whale with Brendan Fraser. And, I think she's got she's young enough, and especially if they're going to try to go with a younger cast, which I would imagine for the MCU, I think she's a perfect fit for Jean Grey.
Yeah. Her acting chops are up there. We've seen her, grow up on Stranger Things. I mean, she was probably 14 or 15 during season 1, and
probably younger than that, honestly. But yeah,
well, she
maybe 13.
Yeah, she was probably 14 or 15, but I think she first appeared in season 2.
Oh yeah, was it the end of season 1 or was it actually season 2?
It was season 2.
Okay, sorry, season 2. Whatever it was. Yeah, she wasn't in that first season. And then, The Whale, which, saw her going to a, more of a drama out of the sci-fi realm and also going to the big screen instead of the small screen. She obviously looks the part, which is great. Obviously you want to have someone that looks the part. And I love that they're doing young castings. You can obviously do the X-Men team a couple different ways. You can have them be, the students at the school who are, about to hit that, late teens, early adulthood age. Or you could do what they did in, the original Fox X-Men movies, which is they're already adults. There are the kids roaming around the schools. You see other mutants, but the main X-Men team were, they were in their mid 30s at that point. I personally love that they're, casting a younger group because it allows them to age through the MCU. We want to have these characters be in movies for a decade, 2 decades, maybe more than that, maybe until they're 90, as we've heard before. So, Sadie Sink, I give it the thumbs up for sure.
Yeah, I got no qualms about that casting. Again, been in some pretty high-profile projects and has delivered. And I do like what you're saying about that. I'd like to, have them come in younger. Not sure I want a full origin story on the X-Men, like having I don't know what to expect. There's so many iterations they can do. But that being said, want somebody who wants to stick around in that role. Like Tom Holland, it feels like he has a passion for Spider-Man. And it's nice to see kind of younger actors out there, hopefully gravitating towards these characters and, making, again, they don't want to be typecast. I don't blame them. But at the same time, it's pretty cool to be kind of known as the one to do this. So, all right. And that wraps up, I do believe, the Marvel news that we have to talk about. But we're going to move on to DC because as you all saw from the thumbnail clip, we're talking about a DC Comics comeback in a way. Is that right, Josh?
I believe we're in a DC comeback. And it's, first of all, not just the movie side and TV show side, but it's the comic side.
Even more so the comic side. I agree.
Well, Jim Lee just did an interview, and Absolute Batman is the best-selling title this year, and also, I believe, the best-selling title in years for DC. Between the Absolute line of the Black Label and the Elseworld stories, DC has really been making a great comeback in the comic format, and honestly, could we potentially see in the next few years, if they keep going up, could they overtake Marvel at the comics side of things?
Hold on. Pump the brakes there, Josh. Let's remember that just within the last couple of years, Image has overtaken DC. So they have to overtake Image first. Now, that is, I think, a very viable thing, especially if Superman does really well, especially if the Matt Reeves Batman stuff continues to please the audiences. And, as long as Absolute and the Black Label, more adult stuff still continues to put out good content, then I think, yes, they could overtake Image. Marvel's still pretty far away at this point.
I agree, but I'm excited about DC again. The Absolute line it's fun. I really like what I've read so far. I'm all in. I'm not using that as a corny cliche, even though all in is kind of like the theme that they're going with these days in the books. But I'm excited to read these books again, especially because there's such a long and rich history of DC, and it's almost sometimes, inundating to kind of want to jump on. the Absolute line is a perfect place just to jump back on again. These characters are much different than your Wonder Woman, Batman, or Superman. However, they still hold a lot of the essence of what these characters are. So I highly recommend it. And I'm again, super excited. I'm glad they're doing something like this. Yeah, for sure. I bring it on. Again, we're happy to see these companies succeed. It's not Marvel versus DC or Image versus everybody or anything like that. We want to see these comic books that we grew up reading. We want to see them succeed because, again, we want to bring in that other, audience, that next generation of audience members in as well. So I'm very excited. So I would think that I think they're on a comeback track. Coming back doesn't mean taking over as the number one publisher to me, but coming back and just starting to come with a coherent kind of strategy and putting out good quality product.
Yeah, and just to kind of clarify, Nuke's asking the question of is copies sold or quality of stories? Quality of stories in art is going to be subjective either way. There might be a consensus on it, but generally things are measured by sales. And right now, Marvel's still up top. They've been up top since they passed DC in, I believe, the late 60s, early 70s. And Image is now second to Marvel, followed by DC. I could see those two switching though, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like one of your favorite writers, Joe, Scott Snyder taking the lead on Absolute Batman.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be a fun ride. So I'm on board. You know what I mean? Again, just want to see these companies succeed. All right, so we do have some more DC news, and we're going to get to the biggest one at the end of the news segment here. But let's move on because it is
so. It's interesting
that came out this week.
This character showed up in the trailer, but he also confirmed, and we got news of it. Nathan Fillion will inspire his role in Green Lantern as Guy Gardner. Now, how much of a role we'll have to see. Obviously, it sounds like he is maybe at the beginning, he is the Earth's protector. He's there on Earth doing his thing. But I tell you what, based off of the trailer, and I know a lot of some people are hating on the design, saying he looks ridiculous, but he looks very comic accurate. So I'm happy about that. And, listen, Nathan is a fantastic actor. And if he's only part of the show, I just think he makes the show even more stronger. And I look forward to maybe seeing Jon Stewart, Guy Gardner, and Hal Jordan, interacting together, the three of them. I think that'd be really fun to see. It's something I don't even think we've ever seen live action shows or even the animated shows. I don't know if we've ever seen those three connect together. So be fun.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because it's the same people that complain about things not being comic book accurate that are also complaining about how Guy Gardner looks. Like, it's the same camp of people. He looks exactly like he does in the comics. Why are you complaining about that? He had that stupid bowl cut in the comics, and he has it now on the big screen. Either you got to pick a side. You can't pick and choose if you're, fine with comic book accurate things or not comic book accurate things, and fine with goofy appearances and physical traits and stuff like that are behind the times and outdated and stuff like that. It's one or the other, but I'm fine with it. I don't care what he looks like as long as the story is good and the acting is good and all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And again, this right here, I keep bringing it up. It is comic, even to the facial expression too. And I cannot remember the artist that was that actually commented on this from the 80s. He did Justice League Europe. He said this is what he had in mind when he drew Guy Gardner. This kind of look, this specific look, and it's just I think they've nailed it. That's Guy Gardner. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited. Again, for many reasons. But my love for Green Lantern, and I'm excited to see all of them team up in the Corps and stuff like that. So, you know what else I'm excited about? Joe's excited about, and Josh, you are too. It's this story right here.
Hey, look, I'm a Batman guy. You can tell that from the background. But Matt Reeves has finally confirmed the script is almost finished, and they're going to filming beginning of 2025. it looks like maybe like March, April to start filming. But yeah, he pretty much confirmed it. It's set. They're ready to go. Imagine he's touching up a little bit left of the script. It's also interesting to note that even when Matt was filming the Batman, he was constantly updating the script as they were filming. Now, we've had movies happen like that before in the past, and movies end up being bad. But in my opinion, Matt can do it on the fly like that. And, you know, the Batman was amazing. I loved it. I can't wait to jump back into this. It really kills me that we still have to wait 2 years to jump back in. I believe October 26th to 27th is the date they're releasing in 2026. I just kind of wish like it was releasing this year so that way we can follow off the hot trail of the Penguin. But yeah, I can't wait for this, man. And all the rumors I'm hearing about who's going to be the villains and how the story is going to go, and even moving into part 3 and the shows that they're looking at making in between 2 and 3. Matt Reeves is taking his own universe off, and I can't wait to see this thing play out.
Joe.
Oh, me. Okay, yeah. Batman, Matt Reeves. I mean, the first movie was okay. I know. I just talk about this movie all the time. I love the Batman. I love Robert Pattinson as Batman. I love what Reeves has done with the whole thing, and you know the tone of it, the detective noir story. It's amazing. Yeah. And I'm so excited for this. Glad that the ball is moving. I know there's past couple of years there's been delays. There was pandemic, there was the writer's strike, there was the SAG strike. So now we're moving forward, ready to get some good content.
Yeah, for sure. Again, it does seem like a long wait. You do have something interesting in the rumor section, Josh, that we'll hit upon that maybe feed our cravings for a little bit more, knowing that it'll be worth our while. In my opinion, some people may not like what you have to say in this rumor, but we'll touch upon that later. Now, before we get into it, the big news of the week was a big trailer. So we're going to bring Dan De La Torre to the stage here because he would like to have some input on this last little nugget here. Joshua, take it away.
Yeah, so, it's funny. I predicted last weekend that we were going to get a trailer on Thursday, and Lord and behold, I was right again. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the amazing teaser trailer. I was at work, and I literally stopped in the middle of doing what I was doing at work to watch this. And I'm going to be honest, I've probably watched this trailer at least 10 more times over. I think it was really, really good. My thoughts going into this, and I know it's just a teaser trailer, and it's just supposed to give you a little bit of a taste of what to expect. I think this movie looks really, really good. My highlight was Crypto. Crypto stole the show for me, but I feel really confident in this film going forward. And, I think the DCU is on the right track, and I was a bit worried about James Gunn, but off of what I've seen, I kind of feel like he's taking this serious, and we're going to get a good Superman film. Something that, like in the tagline, look up, something that inspires us. He's going to be truth, American justice all the way. Like he's going to be the Boy Scout that we know from Matt Reeves' universe, you could say. And I'm really excited for this. I thought it was a great trailer, but I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say and your thoughts on it.
Well, go ahead, Joe.
Woke garbage is the words that come to mind from it. No, I'm just kidding. I promise. It's good. I'm not, I'm hype on this movie. I'm not a Superman guy, but I'm excited for this new reboot, this fresh take, all this stuff. I think the trailer was a solid first trailer. I was not blown away. I'm not like, oh, this is going to be the greatest movie. I'm not like fist pumping or anything like that. But I watched the trailer. I was excited for the movie. I'm still excited for the movie. And there's a lot of cool things that I saw in the trailer, things that I didn't 100% expect to see in this, this first teaser trailer. Because we're still, 7 months off from the movie. So, we're clearly going to get probably 2 more trailers, I'm thinking. So I felt like it was a good first outing as far as a little teaser. I'm excited to see more. If we're rating the trailer, let's give it like a 7.5 out of 10.
So I'm going to wait for Dan. I'm going to give a little bit of what I thought as well, because Dan, as we all know, has been the most critical in terms of this Gunn Safran DCU run universe. So we'll give him the last word. But real quick, I saw everything I love in a James Gunn film. You have humor, you have heart, you have some beautiful aesthetics in there, and I fully expect this to be an amazing film. I know I've been fooled before with trailers such as, I think the most recent trailers that I have been fooled were Mobius, Let There Be Carnage, basically all the Sony films. I'm like, okay, maybe they got this right here, and it went to shit. James Gunn has a track record of films that I really enjoy, and I'm super excited to see him put his stamp on an iconic hero like Superman. So A+ for me with that trailer. If we're going with the grading scale of, I'd say, sorry, Joe, 98% or 9.8.
Wow. Okay, you're way more high on it than I am.
I'm super excited about it. I love it. I love it. Now, is the Grinch here or not? What say you, Judge?
Let me lead in by this. I just lost fantasy football today.
So you're not in a good mood.
Thanks to the absence of Josh Allen. He was killing it the entire year, and he took a dump. And so I came in second place. So, okay, that's my lead in. And the reason why I say it is because I looked at the trailer, and for backup, there's other shows that are as prominent as ours. You got Swaggerhouse, you got David from Comic Book Investments. They had a very less than stellar look at this trailer. They said, and Swaggerhouse was in the acting industry, he's in the movie industry. He said, it looks cheap. The lighting wasn't that great. There's some certain aesthetics that he sees that we don't see because we're not in the industry. I looked at it objectively, and a trailer is your advertisement, your introduction. Hey, this is supposed to grab you like, wow, I want to see more of what I see on the screen here. The story needs to unfold. The acting needs to unfold, and that's your one time to do it. I took away from this trailer like, okay, well, it's all right. It didn't wow me. It didn't say, Dan, you have to go to the theater. I will go to the theater. I will see it. But this trailer fell flat. It just did. I mean, I think the thing we may have to, for some of you guys, with respect, you may have to think about, you're wishing that DC comes forward with something. They're wishing they want to get their reins on something. I saw that on one of the few with the Black Adam movie. And they had me. They absolutely had me. I wanted more. And then they cut it. And they're starting over again. So I'm not wishing them ill will. It's not a bad trailer, but it's also not a good trailer. It didn't do the job to bring someone like me and say, Dan, you've got to see this movie. This is fantastic. I didn't get any of that. And so did our colleagues. So again, I'm not alone in this opinion. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's also not good either.
Well, I do have to say, just a rebuttal. I am in the film industry, the production industry, the entertainment industry. I didn't look at it from that perspective. The way I approached it was the way it made me feel, and that's at the end of the day, what movies, television shows, content online, whatever it is, it's how it makes you feel. And there was that nostalgic feel in there with the music. I don't know if you all heard it, but there was the John Williams riff in there slightly. Yep. And right there, for me, I don't care how they fucking lit that shit. It made me feel. So for me, that's the outlook I had about it. And I'll take a look. I like to be able to separate those things at times. Sometimes it's impossible to. I appreciate Swag's reaction and his kind of criticisms to it. But like that's the approach I took. So that's
let me end on this. If the movie comes out and it's mediocre, but you guys are entertained, that's fine. That's totally fine. I'm not going to criticize you if you like it, and I'm sort of indifferent about it. As long as you're happy and entertained, that's the bottom line. I may or may not be at this point.
No, that's fair. Again, that it does, different strokes for different folks or whatever that saying is. So I do appreciate you weighing in, and I know you're going to be one of the most critical people walking into that theater for this film because you said it from day one when they hired Gunn. So Again, respect that, but we need to move on to the rumors of the news segment because this was a big week for news and rumors. Judge, we'll see you a little bit later in the show. All right, here we go. Now we're moving on to the rumors. This is not confirmed in any which way or form, but they are some exciting things to discuss. And this news segment is taking longer than usual, but there's a lot to talk about in general. By the way, like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. After the news, we are going to say hello to all you fine people in the chat. But get your questions ready for Ask Joe and Jeff and Josh and Dan as well. All right, here we go. Joshua, what do we have for our first rumor here?
So first thing up, something that I'm kind of excited for if it ends up being true. Michael B. Jordan may return for Doomsday or Secret Wars. Honestly, there was a lot of talk about him returning as Killmonger in Black Panther 2, which actually ended up becoming true. He returned in a dream scene or like in the plan of passing on. But maybe it's a villain or a variant of his character. We'll have to see. Could he maybe potentially be a variant of the Black Panther? Maybe he'll be moving forward. This is how they bring him back, and he'll be our Black Panther moving forward, or we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, I think this is interesting and something that I think, a lot of people would be excited for.
Hey, more Michael B. Jordan, my book is a good thing. I enjoy him, and I think, him as Killmonger was awesome, and I'll be interested to see how they would use him going forward. He was in that episode or a few episodes of What If, so excited to see that. Joseph.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. Great actor. Obviously this is definitely a character they can bring back and do a lot of things with. Definitely not a one and done villain. Obviously, we've seen him a couple times and showed up in What If as well. I like that idea. A universe where Killmonger became Black Panther one way or another, and him coming to the mainstream universe and continuing in the role. It's tough not to have a Black Panther, especially with how global the MCU has gotten, and the fact that Wakanda is now known to the world and open up to that. I think it opens up a really nice opportunity to have a Black Panther in the MCU that people really do want to see. Because let's be real, Shuri has not stuck. Great supporting character. I don't think she can carry it by herself, though.
I'll agree with that for sure. All right, moving on. We do have another piece of MCU news. Go for it.
Yeah, this has been talked about for the last couple of years, ever since he showed up in No Way Home, and I think it makes sense. Charlie Cox is back as Daredevil. March is coming up soon with his own show, but we might potentially see him in Spider-Man 4. There's a lot of going back and forth about him maybe being in, about him maybe showing up in one of the other sequels that are rumored for a new Spider-Man trilogy. Personally, I think at this point right now, with him in No Way Home and everything and how the comics go, we know Devil's Reign was teased. It sounds like at the end of Echo kind of going on, and we might see that from the newest season of Daredevil Born Again. So I kind of hope this is true and ends up happening. I think, if you have a team up between Spider-Man and Daredevil, I think this movie easily hits $1 billion. I could see it happening pretty much like Deadpool and Wolverine, just on a street level side of things.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Actually, Joe, your thoughts, please.
Man, I love Daredevil. I love Charlie Cox as Daredevil. I think this is perfect. I mean, especially we've seen the cosmic side of Spider-Man, the global and the cosmic. I want the street level Spider-Man so bad, and it makes perfect sense. We're getting Daredevil in the MCU, really officially, and those two, I think they've set things perfectly to have those two, go up against Kingpin in the MCU, and kind of a battle for New York kind of thing. And please. And I think there's a lot of chemistry, even in the little bit that we've seen between Tom Holland and Matt Murdock. Both incredibly intelligent characters. One of them a little bit more seasoned and one of them more not that Tom Holland obviously hasn't been through a ton of crap already, but he's young. His character has just graduated high school in the MCU. So we're talking about, an 18, 19, maybe 20-year-old if they age him a little bit for the next movie. But, we're talking about a young adult, versus someone who is a lawyer who's been around doing this for what I assume to be years at this point. I assume like the character is kind of in his early to mid 30s as far as Matt Murdock. So I think they'd be a really cool, just some really nice chemistry.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I'd love to see those two characters together. Actually in action in the MCU, just like this their first meeting in Marvel Universe right there, comic side of things. All right, moving on. We got to wrap this news up. What do we got? We got two more pieces, Josh.
Yeah, so this is something that honestly I really hope happens. I know Joe wants it to happen, and I'm sure everybody else does. So James Gunn reportedly wants Robertson's Batman. Oh, sorry. Oh, here we go. James Gunn reportedly wants Robert Pattinson's Batman in the DC. He wants that as his Batman, and apparently Patterson wants that as well. But Reeves kinda wants to still do his solo thing. I have heard potentially that the reason why the script has taken so long for the Batman 2, which again was supposed to film this year, film this year and then next year, and they postponed it not only because of the writers and everything else. I'm hearing Matt had to do writing. Possibly is that maybe, depending on how things go, Matt might, add in some DCU stuff hidden into Batman 2, which may potentially be like a, hey, we're in the DCU universe. And I'm thinking, like, how crazy would that be, knowing that the Batman technically was the first DCU property film? And to be honest, to see David and Robert Pattinson together, world's finest, I think it would make a lot of sense. However, I do feel like Pattinson doesn't need to be in a universe. He can do his own thing by himself. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword on either end, but no matter what happens, I'm here to support it.
Yeah, so I mean, the way I see this, they can continue to do the Matt Reeves universe. It doesn't necessarily have to, Gotham City is a pretty self-contained world. Let's be real. The Batman, and the Penguin show and whatever else we get, Batman 2 and maybe other spin-offs, that can be its kind of own self-contained thing when Batman is chilling in Gotham doing his thing. And then he can go to other places. We can see him in Metropolis and Central City and working with a Justice League or whatever other team. It's not like Batman is always there in the DC universe. Obviously a very popular character, but he doesn't need to be omnipresent as far as in every single DC property. Just like we haven't seen various, other than Nick Fury being in like almost all the movies because, he's Nick Fury. He's kind of, pulling the strings there. It's not like we saw Tony Stark or, Thor or Hulk in every single property. There's going to be ones that have some characters and don't have other ones, even the major crossover stuff. So I don't see an issue. I don't see why that would really hinder Matt Reeves from continuing to flesh out the Batman universe. The only thing I can see is just actual time, like filming. These actors, Robert Pattinson probably won't be able to do anything else other than DC and Batman movies for the next decade or so, which is honestly fine by me.
Yeah, it's as easy as what you said, Joe. They don't have to cross over all the time. They don't have to be present all the time, even if they're, you know what I mean? Like, I think we've gotten so spoiled, within the past 16 years with the MCU, and everything is just there. It doesn't have to be force fed to us. So I'm excited about this. But yeah, by the way, Lunch Money Comics in the house. I am way too late to the stream. I have to get back to.
Oh,
Sure.
lunch money. I have something for you. A little Christmas present for you. Someone messaged me today about a collection in Massachusetts. It's a little far for me to drive. I was going to pass that off to you. So lunch money, expect a message from me after the show tonight.
Ooh, that sounds. We're all on the edge of our seats. Figuring drawing. I don't think we've seen you before, but no shot. Gunn wants his own Batman movie. He won't give Matt Reeves that much shine. Not that Gunn is selfish, but I guarantee he wants to do it his way. Besides, Batman is far more popular than Supes. That's true. This is a bit. Gunn's Superman movie will not break 1 billion.
Wow.
No chance. I would love to revisit that. I don't know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'd like
That
to hear
is
why.
that is a bold,
A very
claim.
bold statement. I think people are starving for Superman again, and just would like to hear figure drawing what you're basing that off of. And we'd love to revisit this in the next 10 months. So absolutely. All right, moving on to we got.
Hold on. I just
Go
want to
for it.
say one last thing about this Batman, Matt Reeves, James Gunn thing. Tune in to Crucio Commandos episode 7. That might give us an indication of where we're going. Just keep that in mind, folks.
Interesting. We're on episode 4, which has been fantastic. We have 5 coming out this week, so 3 weeks away from that, Joshua. We will keep that in mind, and you will obviously be bringing it up during the news. All right, one more piece that came in late yesterday, I think. Joshua, what do you got?
No, today.
Today.
This is interesting. Gwen Stacy is reportedly going to be the new female lead for the new trilogy of Spider-Man, and it looks like she's going to pretty much be replacing the MJ relationship. We might or may not see MJ much longer, and Anna Taylor-Joy is reportedly being eyed for a major role for Spider-Man 4. And I believe the producer Amy Palassi, if I'm saying her last name right, the head of Sony, she just confirmed. Well, I didn't confirm. Somebody asked her about Taylor joining the MCU and possibly playing a certain role. She said she definitely looks the part and would be a huge asset to the film. So I think she's kind of in talks now. What do you do? Whether it be Gwen Stacy, Summer saying she might be Black Cat. We'll have to wait and see. But I could potentially see Stacy come back into the MCU. I kind of don't really want to see that again. I'd be honest with you. I love Zeta as MJ, and I say keep on doing that, man. Keep doing that. But who knows what they got in store? Peter, we know, is at the end of No Way Home. Graduated high school, got a job, might be going to college or something. Who knows? So he might be meeting other people. And technically, Ned and MJ no longer know who he is, and he may not want to endanger them again and bring them into his life. So it's hot. I'll have to see what happens with this news.
Either way, can't wait for it to get here. By the way, Caleb, you may want to get a closer relationship with your girlfriend if you did not know that she's in talks to be in the MCU. That is sad. All right. I'd love to see her. Perfect Gwen Stacy right there. Joe.
Yeah, I mean,
or Black Cat.
Here's the thing. I freaking loved her as Ilyana in New Mutants, and I would love to see her continue in that role. Obviously that's a Fox property, but there's no saying that they can't just bring her in and have her be in that role. That being said, she's a great actor. I've seen her in tons of things since she was young. I think the first thing I really remember seeing her in was Split, which was a really great superhero movie as well. And I could see her being in, both of those roles. I actually see her more as a Felicia Hardy than I do a Gwen Stacy. And I've been pushing for this kind of for a while, not pushing for it because I have really no say in it, but I've been just kind of saying that I would love to see the next love interest of Peter be Felicia Hardy, because Black Cat and Hobgoblin are the last characters that really have not been really properly used. We've seen Felicia Hardy in live action, but she did not become Black Cat because the fourth Spider-Man movie was, the third Was it the third or the fourth? Whatever.
It was the
Yeah,
third.
the
It was
third
the
Amazing Spider-Man movie. with
Garfield, yeah.
Yeah. So we haven't seen Black Cat. We haven't seen Hobgoblin. They're the last two major characters that have not been used in live action, and it adds a love interest as well, which I think is great.
Yeah, again, all for advancing those other storylines within the earlier days of Spider-Man with Gwen Stacy, Black Cat, what have you. But I don't want to phase out Ned and MJ is what I do want to say. All right, this was one of our longest news segments ever on record, and we appreciate you all for
Jeez,
being
almost
part
an
of
hour.
it. Josh,
Mhm.
we appreciate you being our Adam Schefter of the canon, keeping your ears to the street, so they say. Keep up the good work. You're going to be back during this episode. We will talk to you soon. But right now, it's time to say hello to all these wonderful people like Caleb Leland. Oh, by the way, get your Ask Joe and Jeff and Josh and Dan questions in right now. We're going to be doing that segment in a bit. But what's up, Caleb Leland? Hello, figure drawing. We got Brian Klotz in the house asking a question. I love it. We have Kate from Kate's Comics, an alumnus to the canon as well. Lunch Money Comics was in the house, and he's excited to see what he's going to get. Nukes Comics in this house, Joe. Paul Bond. He was actually hoping Madam Web was going to be good for him. We got Scruffy. Immortal Scruffy is here as well. We have who else do we have? We have a lot of Jordan Norrie. Hello, everyone. He's got a fresh get. Do you think it's Thunderbolts related? I'll leave that up to you to decide. Spud Comics in the house. All right, everybody, get those questions in, would you? In the meantime, we do this segment that we've been doing. I guess it's 4 weeks in a row. We've been doing this segment. It's called Did You Know? This is a fun one right here. But Joe, did you know? Did you know that Captain America was actually a comic book artist in Marvel? And there was actually a Marvel Comics in the comics. Let this explain it to you. Take it in.
Did you know Captain America was a comic book artist? That's right. Steve Rogers didn't just save the world, he also drew it. In the 1980s, Cap took a gig as a comic book artist at Marvel Comics inside the actual Marvel Universe. This meta moment happened in Captain America 310 to 325 and proved Steve could juggle saving the world while hitting deadlines. Can we get any more meta? Well, maybe. How about Deadpool directing his own movie, where he breaks the fourth wall while at the same time, breaks the fourth wall? Or maybe the Scarlet Witch creating her own reality series, Wait a Minute, she already did. Or how about Wolverine writing a memoir called Snikt Happens, My Life in Slash Pages? From the battlefield to the drawing board, Steve Rogers shows us that being a hero is more than fighting villains. It's about inspiring others through every part of who you are. That's why he'll always be one of the greats.
So there you have it. He was a comic book artist working for Marvel Comics in a Marvel comic book.
Interesting.
So that is very, very, very meta. All right, Joe, we're going to get right to this. This is your favorite segment because it's got your name in it. It also has my name in it, but it's not. I don't know if it's my favorite segment. I think Did You Know is actually becoming more of my favorite segment. So, by the way, this segment is called Ask Joe and Jeff. And Jeff. Yep, that's me. And we actually have some decent questions. Everybody get those questions rolling in. Also, like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. But Joe, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to, we're going to ask, it's Ask Joe and Jeff. But there's actually an Ask Josh. So we're going to bring Josh back right now. Josh, if Sony sells the Spider-Man IP to Marvel, what'll happen to the Spider-Verse films?
Yeah, so this is
okay. So
that's an Ask Josh.
Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, I'll let Josh take the reins on this one.
Well, I know Joe's probably got more input on this than I do, but a week or two ago, there's rumors that Sony may look to sell the IP to Marvel. I honestly think this is going to go two ways. If Sony does sell the Spider-Man IP to Marvel, I feel like they might, put some kind of things in a contract where they might want to keep certain, like a certain, well, I wouldn't say property because Spider-Man is a property, but maybe they'll work something out with Marvel where they say, hey, we'll continue to do the Spider-Verse films, or we may continue to do the animation aspect of them. And, Marvel might say, hey, go ahead, you do that, and we'll do live action. From what I'm hearing, I really don't think Sony is going to give up the IP of Spider-Man, even if they make, multiple films on villains and, they're not making money. Spider-Man, their contract getting from Marvel and Marvel paying them, and then they're still like, think about this, they're giving the rights to Spider-Man to Marvel. Marvel has to produce, spend all the money, make the films, and Sony's getting a huge cut of it for really doing nothing other than letting them borrow the IP.
No,
they're not going to give up that IP.
it.
I don't think, unless Marvel can come in with some huge money bags, which I don't think they have enough to afford it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the IP is going to stay with Sony. Well,
Right,
I'm just saying, to drop on Spider-Man would be a lot of money.
It'd be $4 billion.
But I don't think it's going to happen. If it did, I feel like Sony would probably put something in the contract where they would be able to produce or at least make some kind of Spider-Man content. If that makes sense.
Okay, so as far as, let's be real, Marvel's owned by Disney. Disney can afford to buy Spider-Man. 1,000%.
They're not doing the best
Joe,
right
the
now.
amount of
They're-
money, though, come on.
They're trying to cut weight right now.
What's
They are
the
not
market?
doing that
Hold on,
great.
what's the market cap of Disney right now?
That would go for $4 billion. That's what they
Look
paid
at it,
for
yes.
all of Star Wars 10 years ago, 12 years ago, or what is it?
Yeah,
So I don't know about that. I really think that's going to be really difficult. But tell us, what is the market cap for Disney?
$203 billion. $203 billion is the market cap of Disney. I'm pretty sure that if
So how much you think the IP's worth?
Well, I've heard the number 4 million thrown around.
$4 billion.
4 billion. Yes, obviously not 4 million. 4 million is a snap.
It'd be at least $4 billion. It'd probably be a little bit more from that. So
Yeah. So I mean, it really it depends. I mean, they've been not putting out good content. It's been losing money over and over and over again. Especially, it's been going down. I can see a world where they collaborate. They continue to collaborate on stuff. I can also see a world where Sony says, "Okay, you know what? You can buy this back. Or you can buy this rather for Disney." What happens to the Spider-Verse? I mean, it could be contractually, declared that Sony can do the animated stuff while Marvel does the live action stuff.
Yeah.
It could be, it could be done. The Spider-Verse stuff was supposed to be the movies. We're waiting for one more movie, and that's supposed to be it. I think. I know there was like talk of a fourth movie, but I think it's just going to be a trilogy.
Again, the only proof in the pudding is the success that has happened, and the ingredients that have made this all a success. Sony still retains the rights, works out a deal with Marvel. They both produce together. It's critically acclaimed. It's also financially a success. Those are the ingredients that have been working. Stop it, Sony. And again, I would be okay with Sony just moving everything over and selling it. Just being like, you know what? Let's call it a day. We've tried to do our thing. It's not working. It's actually terrible. So there have to be some people in there that respect the IP of Spider-Man so much to be like, look, this sucks. This sucks. So
yeah, and I'm fine with the Spider-Verse, which let's separate these two things. Sony has the Sony universe, which is all the villain stuff, the live actions, and the Spider-Verse, which is Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, and now Beyond the Spider-Verse is the next one. That stuff is great. The animated stuff is great, but I'm fine with it being done after a trilogy. I'm fine with them completely stopping that. We're gonna get a Miles in the MCU. We don't need, Miles.
But that's
animated
the
content.
reason we're getting a Miles in the MCU is because there's going to be some sort of an agreement between Disney and Sony.
Yep.
So again, it all comes down to that. Like, Sony's got to be like, show us the money, we'll get out of the Spider-Man game, or we'll continue on doing this because we still make money from this. So I don't know. It's a complicated thing to tear this whole legal, the agreements apart, and because it's going to come down to a boatload of money. So we need to move on. That was a great question there, Caleb Leland. Joshua, thank you. We'll see you a little bit later in the show. Who do we have next? What do we have? We do have another one from Caleb. We're going to skip that. We're not going to go Caleb. We're going to go Brian Klotz. Ask Joe and Jeff, what is on your comic Christmas gift wish list? Comic Christmas gift wish. Wow, that's comic Christmas gift wish list.
Yeah, so this is a tough one, and I never asked for comics for Christmas or for any. I don't ever ask anyone for comics for a gift because I'm picky about what I read, and at this point, a lot of what I collect is out of the price range of what a gift would be. So I never asked for comic stuff. I'm a big. This is kind of making me sound like a little bit of a curmudgeon. I am big on just like I would rather get cash than anything else. I'm not even kidding. Like it's just more economically sound than buying someone a gift. I don't even really like gift giving, and I don't like gift receiving either. It's not that I just don't like getting other people gifts. I don't like getting gifts. Like if you're gonna get me something, give me dollars, buy me dinner sometime or something like that. That means more to me. Take me.
This is a gift right here from Journos.
Yeah, there we go. Woo, Chris. So I don't ask for comics for Christmas. Now, what is on my I want to pick up list? I got some pre-code horror books that are very high on my list this year because I'm trying to complete a run.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't ask for comic book. I don't ask for anything. I ask for nothing. I am the best gift giver of all time. I will take that title. And I just want people to figure it out on their own what they want to get me. I don't put clues out there. I don't put thought into what I want as a gift. That's just how I am. And if people get me a comic book related gift, which they all know, everybody close to me knows I'm a comic book fan, great. If not, great. My brother got me a lot of Eagle stuff. Alicia actually got me a lot of Eagle stuff. Go Birds. Yeah, even though today was tough. So it's a great question, Brian. But yeah, I'm not going to ask for that. So I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about this in the new year, though, what we got. All right. We have a live question from our very own Judge, aka Dan De La Torre. Hello, Judge, Your Honor.
I'm going to sneak something in, though, about that. If Disney buys Spider-Man, are we talking about the entire copyright of Spider-Man altogether, the whole bundle?
All the characters related to Spider-Man.
That's a cheap price for $4 billion for this reason.
I'm not saying it would be $4 billion. I'm saying it would be at least $4 billion. I don't know if it may be more now.
Well, it depends on what Sony's finances are. But anyway, if that's that's the price tag, if any one of us owned Spider-Man, we'd be a billionaire in a year because of all the franchising. Anything that has Spider-Man's icon on it, somebody pays something to the owner of Spider-Man. So Disney has the pockets. They probably should. No, it's not just for the movies. That's the only thing I wanted to point out.
I think Sony only owns
film rights.
They don't own the really? Spider-Man IP. No, that's still owned by Marvel.
Okay. I don't know, because years ago Marvel broke things up because they were broke, so they had to sell things.
They sold the film rights.
Okay, all right.
And that was way before the MCU.
Okay, my question is this, Joe. This is kind of a big question. Let me see if I can frame it correctly. CGC, we love them for a lot of reasons until recently, but they had a lot of brilliant ideas, including a census. The census is fantastic. If there's few comics on the census, it's more valuable, blah, blah, blah. Now, since the Golden Age, and Silver Age, and even Copper Age, those eras are done. Especially Silver and Golden Age. There are only so many comics printed in those years, and it's impossible to go back in time and print more. I've been looking up along the lines of a census, how many comics were printed, per issue. I mean, here's a classic example here. Just got this back from Tony, and this is a way to promote Tony Trombata. It says Silver Surfer 4, nice 1/5, pretty label. But this was a low print run. There's only so many of these that exist. Is there a census, an at-large census regarding how many books were printed per issue? Because as time goes on, the issues are going to deteriorate, they'll be lost, go into a fire. Things are going to happen. Not that I'm wishing that on anybody, but things are going to happen where the original print run of whatever comic, especially in Golden and Silver Age, is going to continue to shrink. And as it continues to shrink, the value of each of those comics goes up because there's only there's fewer and fewer that exist. Is there such an entity that's gone to that trouble? And if so, where are they? Or is there a way to find out what is what?
Yeah, so I want to say a couple of things regarding the CGC census, because this is a good question. CGC census is flawed in a way. And the reason I say that is because a lot of books get cracked out, pressed, and resubmitted and not taken off the census. So likely for pretty much every single book on the census, there are actually less copies than it says. Whether it's half as many copies or 99% as many copies, we don't know. One thing that you can do to help this, if you crack and press a book, send the label to CGC and say, I cracked this book. They take it off the census. It costs you an envelope and a stamp. Send just the label. You don't have to do anything other than the label. Send that into CGC. Keep the census as accurate as possible. Not everyone's going to do this, so on and so forth. Back to what you were saying. There are a lot of books that they have some knowledge, even going back to the Golden Age, about what the approximate print run was. Now, for most stuff from the Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, Copper Age, it was hundreds of thousands, if not even millions, especially in the Golden Age. There were a lot of books with million copies in the print run because that was such a major form of entertainment prior to every household in the country having a television, so on and so forth. There are likely books that are significantly more print runs, that significantly higher print runs than what we know of as the highest known one is X-Men #1 from 1991, which it was like 8-point-something million. There are likely a lot of Golden Age books that had much, much higher print runs than that, but there might only be a few hundred known to exist at this point because of, it was trash media. It was getting thrown away. There are a lot of books, like I said, that the census count is known, especially indie publishers and stuff like that. People know the print run for TMNT and The Crow, the original books that were lower print run and stuff like that. But most like mainstream stuff, Marvel and DC, is unknown. Up until like more recent years when they started tracking it a little bit better, especially with like ratio variants and stuff like that, and kind of knowing how many copies were ordered. It is generally unknown. We're like, it's a ballpark of, sometimes a ballpark of, a couple 100,000 to a couple 100,000, and no one really knows. What we can say is that most books from the modern, let's say the 90s, the early 90s, all the way back to the 70s, had pretty massive print runs, and those books are readily available. No book from that era, at least from Marvel and DC, are rare by any means.
Well, the answer to this question is more relevant today because, as we all know, raw comics are being really accelerated as far as the buying and selling of those rather than Slack. So if someone could find this out there, if someone could somehow, I don't know how you do it, but if someone could take some sort of count, that would go a long way towards rating the books regarding the value.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Value is always going to be not just supply, but also demand. Hulk 181, great example. There's a bazillion copies of that book out there. That book is still really expensive because it's a massively in-demand book. If you look at the 3 most expensive comics, which are Detective Comics 27, Action Comics #1, and AF-15. First Spider-Man, first Batman, first Superman. One of those books has thousands of copies on the census and plenty more raw copies known to exist. 2 of those books have a very low census count, but they are all really high in the price range because Spider-Man's supply is totally outweighed by the massive demand for the character. That book is more than 20 years more recent than those other books. Like I said, there are thousands of copies as opposed to, I want to say Detective Comics 27 has like under 100 copies, like 80 or 90 on the census, and Action 1 has like 150 or something like that. But it's comparable in value because the demand for Spidey is so massively high. That being said, the the newer books are up until a certain point in the 90s when print runs really shrunk. Those books are not at all rare. No book from that time period is rare. So you kind of get a sense of what is less which is more scarce just by going around and seeing. You go to a convention, you don't see Crow number ones everywhere because they're low print run books, but you see another book from the same year or around the same year, Amazing Spider-Man 300. You see them almost every dealer at a big show is going to have at least one copy of that book, and it's kind of, you gotta get a feel for it.
I do want to say that there was this I don't know, online site that tried to keep track of print runs and things like that. It was called Comicron, I think. It's a terrible looking website. But I just put it in the chat. But it used to be able to, before the pandemic, have roundabout numbers for print runs. So that may help you in terms of anything you're looking for in the past couple of decades. Obviously not what we're talking about, Golden Age, maybe even Silver Age too. So something to take a look at right there. All right, great question, Your Honor. We'll see you a little bit later. All right, moving on. We got to get this show moving on. We got this one real quick. Caleb Leland, ask Joe, Jeff, and Josh, did DC buy the horror titles from Charlton when they bought their heroes? I just need more Ghost Manor.
Oh, that's actually a good question. I'm not 100% sure of this, but I want to say they did, because DC started really pumping out a lot more, Bronze Age horror when the Comics Code Authority. Ghosts was originally not DC. Was that Charlton originally? Maybe. I don't know if they actually bought those properties or they just kind of started pumping out more just because every company did. But that's a really good
good question though.
I don't know.
We need to look into that. Bronzeville would probably know.
Bronzeville definitely knows the answer to that question. He's a historian. If Jim, if you're in the room, let us know.
All right, so figure drawing. This wasn't a question. I see it's highlighted here. I think I know why. Why did Superman flinch when a can hit his head? Also, why did he slam to the ground without making a crater? I had the same thought about the can. An explanation. When you get hit in the head by an empty can or whatever, you're not gonna, it's not gonna hurt you. Being a regular human, whether it be, as opposed to, Superman. But, just something hits, it grazes you. You're just like, what the hell was that? Especially,
I think it was more being startled rather than.
Like I can see that as to why there was no crater. We don't know the physics of what happened either. So who knows? I don't know. Joe, you have answers to this?
Well, there was snow there. So his body would have sunk into the snow a little bit, and that would have cushioned and really absorbed a lot of the impact, so there wouldn't be a crater.
Good answers right there, but good question as well. Immortal Scruffy asked Joe, would you rather see a live action Nightcrawler TV show or movie? And what story, would you rather see a movie or a TV show? I think he's asking. And what storyline would you like to see?
I've been at least as far as, kind of what I'm talking about here at origin story. I'd love to see an origin story of him in the Bavarian circus, kind of navigating this life as, a little bit of a recluse, an oddity, a freak, if you will. I would love to see that. And kind of the storyline, the pre Giant Size X-Men, because that's in Giant Size X-Men. Professor Xavier goes out and, finds him and, working in the Bavarian circus and takes him on. So I'd love to see like kind of the lead up where that is the end. That's like the season finale or whatever is Professor X comes and is like, come with me, Kurt.
So you're saying a show you'd like to see.
I listen, as far as fleshing out characters, which this would be an origin story, a real characterization. That kind of stuff just does so much better in shows, just because you have a longer time period. It's episodic. You can kind of showcase different, eras of this person's life and stuff like that. I would rather see that, and then the characters show up in, a movie on an X-Men team.
How about Mystique being involved? And who is the other, the gold face lady?
Yeah, well, there's, depending on which parent story they use, because there's a bunch of them now. It's been retconned, several times. See, I love the character Azazel, so I'm a little bit, I think it's a cool retcon, and that's the way it was intended to be. But at the same time, like the character Azazel is really cool. So, I don't know. Maybe they probably, I would say they wouldn't include any of the parental figures, because this is the time where he is this, this orphaned, oddity, living in Germany, kind of in disguise and getting by as a freak show attraction. So I think that would be not a parent situation. Maybe a little cameo in the beginning or something like that.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Great question as usual. Our very own Josh asked Joe, CBC, and Jeff as well, if you could create one superhero, what would be their name and superpowers?
Oh man, put me on the spot for this one. Right now, honestly, the only thing that I'm thinking about is food. I am starving at the moment, so I'm gonna say like, let's go with Sushi Man, and this guy is just gonna be just whipping out nice rolls of sushi on the regular. Giving you a diverse selection of hand rolls and sashimi and stuff like that, and just plowing it into my mouth. That would be great.
That sounds amazing.
Please don't take the sound clip of me saying plowing it into my mouth and use it for anything.
You shouldn't even have pointed that out, because now it's out of my control. With that said, I'm just gonna go with what my daughter came up with. Sally Soaphands. Nothing beats that character. Sally stopping evil villains by being able to shoot soap out of her hands, going into the eyes. She could fly because soap can sometimes float and stuff as bubbles.
Sally Soaphands.
Nothing gets better than that. And then Nukes Comics asked Joe and Jeff, who are the 3 CBC guests on your wish list for 2025? Joe, you go first. I'll go second. You go third.
Okay, so I go first.
Yes.
Top 3 comic book canon guests on my wish list for 2025. Can this be like anyone? Are we talking like people in the comic book community?
Okay, I'm going to say Michelle Obama.
That's a weird one. I don't know about that. I don't think she would really fit the
demo,
the role here. I'm gonna go with This is a tough one. This is actually a really tough one. Could it be someone like, okay, anyone? So we're talking like, could we get James Gunn on here? That's a really tough one. I would love at some point to get one of my friends on here. She works for DC. She's a senior editor now at DC. Her name's Brittany Holzer. She's been an editor there for years. She just did get a promotion to senior editor. Shout out to Brittany Holzer. She is currently editing Action Comics. That's a big one there. And I know there's a lot of restrictions, and I've asked her before about, coming on. There's a lot of, essentially talking to any media, even though we're just, a YouTube channel, whatever. There are restrictions to that. I would love to be able to get around that sometime and have her on here, because she is a wealth of knowledge, not only as someone who works in the industry, but someone who's been a lifelong fan of comic books and who just loves the medium and loves the creative process and stuff like that, and has gotten to work with some phenomenal talent in the industry. Would love to have her on at some point. But again, there's some restrictions there. Jeff, over to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very general and vague. I'd like to have a more diverse cast of people from the community. I feel like we've had maybe 2 females as guests on this show. I would like to see more people from different backgrounds and things like that. So that's
So that was
what
just a generic thing.
that I gave it generic because we need to start eyeing these people up now. So if you have any suggestions on who you all want to see in the show, please let us know in the comments. Again, please like and subscribe. That was another great question, but we have to wrap up.
Wait, I didn't do the third one. It was supposed to come back to me. Remember?
My bad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
the obvious answer here is the number 1 comic book canon guest of all time, Pope of Chilitown. We definitely need to see him in 2025 at some point. So
It has to happen. It's a yearly thing now.
it's a must. Yearly, it's like
Yeah, you're right. 6 times a
quarterly
year.
at this point.
Yeah.
I think he was on maybe 4 or 5 times in 2024.
He's a hot item. He'll even tell you so himself. But right there, that ends our segment that is called
Ask Joe and Jeff.
And Jeff.
That was a fun one. All right. You know what else is fun? Is a segment we do that we always end the show with. It is called
Oh, that's to me, right?
Mhm.
The best segment on the show. Let's be real. I love Ask Joe and it has my name in it, but that is not nearly as good as this one. This one is the one where we show off your books that you got fresh from the comic shop.
That's right. You, the audience, that you sent us. I'm stepping over my own feet. You,
Restart.
the audience, send us your fresh gets each and every week. You never disappoint. And not only is sharing your fresh gets with this wonderful community, but by just submitting to share, you can win a wonderful prize, monthly prize from EGS and Spider Dude. That's right, EGS Comics. They are the most unique grading service in the biz with proprietary cases that feel better to me than CGC or CBCS. You also get optional custom labels. Nobody else does that at all. Very important. Free graders notes, fast turnaround times, and if you use the code Canon5, you get 5% off. And also we have Spider Dude Comics. Both links are down below. Spider Dude, an amazing seller online of books. They'll find what you need for sure. And this month is a beautiful book right here. The December book of the month is this beautiful Fantastic Four #1 variant, Virgin variant right there. As you can see, that optional custom label is, it's right there for you to see with the Fantastic Four's logo with the 4 right there. I love it, love it. And just so we go through this right now, we have a yearly prize as well. So those who win each month are submitted to win the big book of 2024. That'll go down in March for March Madness. And those contestants are the month of January was Mike Haggs. Month of February was Dr. Plagueis. Month of March was Mons Comics, now an alumnus. We have April, Nukes Comics, our very own Nukes Comics. Kaboom was the winner in May, and June was Super Crispy with Kaboom's actual, what do you call that thing there?
Original art.
Yeah, original art. And then July was Nori Jordan, with obviously some tie-in to the Thunderbolts. August was Raising Elm Comics. September was C to the G. October was Goonish Lurker. November was Slick Jolly. And here we are in December. Now, before we get into our last semifinals for December, our first semifinals for December, who moves on to the finals, just want to say we look for 3 things in the criteria of the books that you do send in if you are interested in maybe making it to the semifinals and the finals. We are looking for a well-composed shot. Give us some depth of field. Give us that aesthetics. Give it the lighting. Have it tie into the book. Make it original, creative, and have fun with it. Think outside the box. You'll see one of those from Raising Elm Comics. What's the second thing we need to see, Joe, or we want to see?
We want to see something unique, something we haven't seen before. Now, unique, it does not necessarily mean that it has to be $30,000, but it should be something that, stands out to us. there's so many books that we talked about earlier that there's infinite copies of out there. We've seen them over and over again, but we maybe have not seen one with a double cover or some other kind of type of printing error, or one signed by the artist, or one with some original artwork sketched on it, or one that was held by George Washington. That would be pretty cool.
We've never seen that before. That'd
No,
be very unique.
from the personal collection of President George Washington.
And then finally, give us a story. Pull at our heartstrings. Let us know what this book means to you. Does it remind you of a family member, or the first book you ever picked up off of one of those spinner racks? What happened to those? Let us know. Pull at the heartstrings. That goes a long way right there. Broke Boy Comics, what is happening? Just want to say hello. All right, here we go. So we're going to jump in to let you know the semifinals, because we did have a semifinals this previous week, and that was Spuds Comics versus Comic Toby. Joe, I got to say, Spuds is taking it home. She will be in the finals again. I think this is like her second or third finals that she is in. Well done, Spuds. Well done, Comic Toby. We are going to pick our first semifinalist this week. They'll go up against next week's semifinalist, and that'll be, we'll figure it all out from there. All right. So we don't have that many submissions. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the holidays or what have you. But they're quality submissions, and the first one is eligible. Mark Lineker, Paul Dini's Jingle Bell from 1999, first appeared in a 2-issue miniseries from Oni Press. Santa's spoiled brat daughter really just wants to connect with her dad, but will she destroy Christmas before she can save it? Jingle Bells went on to appear in many holiday comic specials, but surprisingly never got an animated show. Would have been perfect for Adult Swim. I'd have to say so there too. That I love that cover. It's totally Paul Dini, by the way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great cover right there, and timely. Joseph, what's your first fresh get of the week?
All right, first fresh get of the week. Now, last week I showed you some artwork that I got, and got another piece of artwork. Right. This one's really cool. This one, man, this is definitely the most popular artist that I have original artwork from. This is a pretty small piece, but it is definitely incredible. In fact, it is the Incredible Hulk. This is original artwork by Marie Severin.
Oh, wow.
Signed right down there, 2000. So, 25 years ago, coming up on that. Beautiful cover, or not cover, beautiful drawing of the Incredible Hulk, full body with a little bit of action background going on right there. She drew a lot of Hulk. In fact, one of the kind of interesting things that made me want to buy this is, that really famous cover, Hulk Annual #1. It's the Steranko cover. She actually drew the Hulk's face on that cover. They didn't like how Steranko drew the face, so they had Marie Severin redraw the face on that cover. Wow. She did a bunch of other covers. She did what is it? Tales of Suspense. No, sorry, Tales to Astonish '93. That Silver Surfer and Hulk cover, really famous. So she's done a ton of Hulk stuff, and to have some original artwork of hers of the Incredible Hulk and a full body at that. That was a definitely an easy pickup in that.
Dude, that is so cool. She has done a ton of covers and is known for the Hulk. I didn't know that about the Steranko cover, though. That's very, very interesting. I'd love to see what the original looked like too.
If you look it up, you can actually find it online. I think like one of the reprints has it as well.
Interesting. Correctly. Okay, yeah. I got to check that out. I had no idea about that. All right, moving on. We have Nori Jordan. Hello, everyone. I gave it 2 weeks without a Thunderbolts post, but old habits die hard. I failed miserably at not buying any Thunderbolts #1 until after Christmas, but found I had. That doesn't make any sense, does it? But I found a few great deals, including a second CGC 9.8 newsstand. I also picked up a cheap lot of books that had some great variant covers. I already own these books, but there were a couple of great Venom covers that were an improvement of what I already have. Now it's time to start thinking of some goals for next year. Merry Christmas, everyone. I did not pick up any books this week, so Joseph, let's see what you have for your second fresh get of the week.
Now, is Nori Jordan eligible on that?
Nori Jordan is not eligible.
I don't think so. All right, second one. Let's go with one that is a bit topical right now. This was picked up. I'll be honest, this was not in the last week, but I wanted to wait until Christmas for this. This is A Christmas Carol
Ooh.
The original Charles Dickens story. This one is illustrated by the late Greg Hildebrandt, who just passed away recently. His brother had preceded him in passing a while ago, 15, 20 years ago at this point, I think. But Greg and Tim Hildebrandt, amazing comic book artists, not just comic book artists, fantasy artists. They worked on cards, Marvel cards. They worked on Magic the Gathering, tons and tons of stuff in multiple fandoms. Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars, the original Star Wars poster.
Right.
So yeah, we spoke about him on the show when he passed away recently.
Right.
This was I actually got this from I mentioned this on the show a couple weeks ago. I bought a collection from a guy who went to the Joe Kubert school, the Joe Kubert art school. And this was in his collection. And not only is this an original copy of that illustrated by Greg Hildebrandt, but boom, it is signed right there. Greg Hildebrandt was one of the instructors during his time there, and he got this book signed. And the really cool thing is, and I would never have known this otherwise, but the pictures in this, pretty much all the pictures are actually students at the school that modeled for them. So the photographs were taken of the students in various positions depending on. So yeah, really, really cool. He pointed out a bunch of them. He's like, oh, this is me and Adam Kubert standing there. We modeled for this one, and this is Amanda Connor in this one. It was really, really cool. And the fact that it's signed by Greg Hildebrandt as well. Now that's not something I really collect, so I'm a little torn, but I think I'm going to be selling that.
That's very unique, though.
It is definitely very unique, very
and
cool.
You would be considered for sure with that. All right, who is not under consideration but is still sending these amazing submissions in is our good friend Justin, aka Raising Elm Comics. And look at that, Beard pulls back, everybody. He's making a submission. He's making fists with his toes since the last few haven't met Jeff's standards. I don't think that's true. Beard Pool is coming to the canon. He's making a submission. He's making a fist with his toe. I think that's because he's got music notes here, by the way.
You tried
just teasing, Jeff. If I was truly complaining, then I would have had Mariah Carey singing that first bit. This holiday season, my fellow nerdlets, I'm just bursting like an overstuffed burrito with excitement because Justin picked up an issue of Pet Pool Party, which introduces some new members to the Pool family, Cat Pool and Mouse Pool. It's like Paw Patrol meets Tom and Jerry meets Itchy and Scratchy, just the right amount of redness. More momentous than that, however, is our little adventure toddler pool. Elijah is at an age now where he can participate and enjoy more of the holiday festivities, like visiting Santa Claus, wrapping presents, mainly playing with the Scotch tape, eating twice his weight in cookies, seeing Christmas lights, watching Christmas movies, singing Christmas songs. Our family has also invited Herbie into our house this year. He is a scout elf that is also red and mischievous, but a 10th of my size. And let's just say both Herbie and Toddler Pool keep us on our toes with their continuous antics. Every day is something new and exciting. From our house to yours, may your stomachs be stuffed, be as stuffed as your stockings. May your hearts be as warm as your hearts. And may your holidays be as bright as Clark Griswold's Christmas light display. Merry Chimichangas, everyone. And remember, it's not Christmas unless you've seen Hans Gruber fall from Nakatomi Plaza. Much love, comic fam. P.S. Who has the better beard? Me with the luxurious, recently trimmed beard, or the jolly fat man who breaks into your house once every year? Beard Pool signing out. See you all next year. He's great. He is absolutely great. That submission is not eligible.
Nope.
But still great nonetheless. Oh my God. That house must be so much fun. Especially Justin's very creative, and I'm just wondering what he does with that elf on the shelf for Elijah.
Oh, yeah.
So much fun to do that to your child. All right, Joseph, your last fresh get of the week. What do you have?
So this is addition to my personal collection. This is the run that I mentioned earlier that I'm getting close to having completed. This is Chamber of Chills. Ooh. Number 11. Beautiful Lee Elias cover. We've got this character here kind of looking like, I always see this cover and I think of Zodiac.
Dude, oh God, that's creepy as fuck.
Yeah. So we got him, carrying a damsel in distress, a very common trope on Golden Age covers. Really great colorization on this too. The really dark blacks and the reds and yellow, making it really bright on those parts. Love this cover. Lee Elias, absolute master. And I'm getting very close to being done this run. Unfortunately, I'm missing the big one, Chamber of Chills 19, which am I wearing? I was wearing it yesterday. That shirt that is my favorite cover of all time. That's an expensive one. I know a 2.5 just sold for like $9,000. So definitely a book that is on the list. I probably won't be able to afford it in 2025, but you never know. Maybe that'll be my big end of year buy as far as the big one. Fingers crossed. But I would love in 2025 to complete that entire run other than issue number 19. But if I get 19 too, that'd be a bonus.
Okay. We're all rooting for you, obviously, and I think you'd be able to swing it. I think you're smart enough, diligent enough to make it happen.
Yeah, I might have to trade for it. Dropping an almost 5-figure number on a comic book is out of my budget. I don't know about any of you if you're independently wealthy, but
pocket change for me, I would just hand it to you, but you never
right.
asked. Moving on, though, we got Nukes Comics. This is a special one right here because Nukes is showing off this beautiful EGS slab that Nukes won fresh from the EGS shop. Hulk #1. This is a 1 in 20 Daniel Acuna Red Hulk variant. It is courtesy of Spider Dude Comics and Tony at EGS in conjunction with fresh from the comic shop segment featured on Comic Book Canon, aka YouTube's highest rated comic book show, seen by millions worldwide. Those are facts, Joe. Not only is this the first appearance of the Red Hulk, it is also a permanent piece of my personal collection. It is moments like this that make me so very grateful to be a member of this amazing comic book community. Merry Christmas to Jeff, Joe, Chris, Josh, Dan, and all my fellow Cannoneers. Great stuff indeed. So happy to see that in a happy house right there. And that is an awesome looking cover. All right, real quick. Joshua wants to share a fresh get. So Josh, make it quick, homie.
I love my team ups. I love DC Comics. So here I have it. Brave and the Bold presents issue number 50, the first ever team up of Green Arrow and the Manhunter from Mars. A great book. Unfortunately, it's a little bit lower grade in about the 2.0 range, but a real great team appearance. Well, first team appearance and some underrated keys in the Brave and the Bold. So happy to add this to the collection and looks fantastic.
It does look great. Thank you for sharing, Joshua. We'll see you before the episode ends because we're going to get into this last submission here. Dr. Plagueis, good friend of the show. After a great year of hunting, I present the most elusive book on my want list. My one defeat of the year, I ended up resorting to eBay to pick this up simply because I didn't want to wait any longer to pair it. Now let's see how many 100 times I run into this book now that I have it. Congratulations on that. That happens to quite a bit of us right there. All right. So we only have 2 people that are eligible here.
Who was the second?
It's Mark Leneker.
I know that.
Right.
One.
Wait, it's only one?
It's Mark.
Oh, goodness. Let's bring everybody in then. And we need to make it official.
Which is honestly great because that book hard checks 2 of the boxes.
Yeah.
I would say that this book is unique. It is something that I didn't know even existed. It's an awesome, Paul Dini cover, late 90s, very his time and everything like that. Really cool book. And he's got the whole story behind it. He's got the, talking about the history of it and everything like that. So that really does check those 2 boxes very firmly. So I have no problem making this one the winner of the week, even though it is the only option.
Well, it's not our final say. It's the judges. We're going to bring you up full screen, please.
It's like taking candy from a baby. Regarding you guys paying me, there's only one submission, and I have to rule on this, so it's an easy one. And I expect my check in the mail real soon. Mark Leneker, you guys are done. Congratulations, case closed.
Thank you, Judge. Yeah, we've never not sent you a check. I do have to say
that's true, but keep it coming.
We've never not sent you a check. Is that
saving for my 15, guys? Come on, saving. Just keep the checks going. Let's go.
All right. Well, anyways, this is the last show before the holidays officially are like happening. So very appreciative to all of you. We want you all to have a wonderful holiday season, whatever you celebrate, whether you're with family or what have you. We hope it's a happy one, a safe one, a healthy one. We truly do look forward to the following year. We're going to have one more show of the year. That's next weekend, Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. I do believe there will be a giveaway. Is that correct?
Are we doing this tonight or next
No,
week?
we could tease it tonight.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Would you like to talk about it, or should we just talk about it this week?
Let's talk about it now. I also have a fresh get, by the way, and we want to pay homage to our sponsor.
Yes, let's see that fresh get.
All right, so Tony Trambata is one of the toughest graders. That's what I love about him. He's old school. He uses Overstreet price guidelines, and I finally got my first 9.8 from him. And what's so special about that is I bought this off the rack back in 1988, kept great care of it, and I got it here in a 9.8.
Ooh.
This is the first
so cool.
Batman: The Killing Joke, and here's the label here. This is my favorite, the blue label. Look at the little Joker icon with lots of ha-has around here. But I was just stoked to get a 9.8 from Tony. Very hard to do. So this is going to be in my collection, my PC for quite some time.
That's awesome. Congratulations on the 9.8.
Thank you.
For sure.
First print. But put me on the big screen again. Let's just tease this right now. It's Christmas season, guys. I love everybody here. They pay me so much on the Canon that I can afford for these giveaways here. Anyway, next week for some lucky soul, we gave away an Iron Man 170. I also have there's a bit of a story with this one here. This is Iron Man 169, and according to CGC, James Rhodes replaces Tony Stark as Iron Man. And if you look at I mentioned that because it's labeled here, but technically it's really 170, and the market has declared 170 to be the more expensive book. But Overstreet says this is a more expensive book. So there's one of those weird little conflicts here. But anyway, regardless, next week this will be given away to one of you good people in the chat. I love every one of you. So one of you will wander off with this. Nukes Comics, you have the 170. I need to reach out to you. If you weren't aware of that, you own that one. I'll be sending that out after the new year, but someone will get this one next week.
Yep, and we will discuss how that happens at the beginning of the episode next week. It will be our final episode of 2024. Crazy to say. Again, please celebrate safely, happily, and healthily. Let's do just a little round the horn here. Let's start off with Joshua.
I just want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Can't believe we're finally here. One more week left, and 2025 will be right around the corner. Like Jeff said, if you're going out and you're traveling, be safe. Enjoy your week with your families if you're off or on vacation on certain days. It's been a great year, especially me joining the Canon, and looking forward to what we have next year with you guys. And, we got one more show. So please, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's see some great, maybe holiday end of the year submissions for Fresh from a Comic Book Shop next week. Love to see it. And I think maybe if we don't have too much news, we might do a deep dive into the DCU.
There we go.
And we'll have everybody discuss about it. So, yeah.
Mr. De La Torre, Your Honor, please.
I agree with Josh. It's been a great year. This is a labor of love for all of us. I mean, you guys are on the East Coast, so this is tough for you guys more than me. So, but I love these guys. I wouldn't be here if I didn't love and respect these gentlemen here. These are fine broadcasters. 2025 is going to be a fabulous year, a very dynamic year, lots of information. So we'll be here to give you as much information, know-how, and great questions, hopefully, from the chat next season, or next year, rather. And again, look forward to next week with the giveaway. Everyone have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you next week.
Absolutely. Joe, before you go, Spuds, you are moving on to the semifinals. And Dr. Guillaume, hello. Happy holidays to you as well. Joseph.
Yeah. Holiday season coming up. No matter what you celebrate, I hope you enjoy your time with family, friends. I I've got some plans for this week to do some things that I've been putting off for a while, getting some time off finally. For any of you that know me and know my schedule, it's very rare that I actually have any time off, but I'm hoping to get a little bit caught up this holiday season and go into 2025 strong. But yeah, thank you all for being here. As always, we appreciate your time, your submissions to the show, whether it's Fresh from the Comic Shop on Instagram or your live questions and commentary throughout the show. It's so appreciated. There's a lot of you that are here every week or almost every week. And I hope to continue to grow that audience and that viewership throughout 2025. We got to get some guests on here. We kind of started picking it up. We have had a couple guests recently. Let's keep that going, that ball rolling in 2025 and have a great year.
Yeah, I got to say things do grow a little bit more when we have guests. It's just being able to coordinate scheduling those guests. Again, time is the most precious commodity we have. We truly appreciate you all for spending that time with us. Again, one more show in 2024. That'll be next Sunday. It's coming up Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Until then, everybody, please, please, please have a happy holiday. Celebrate, be safe. And again, we'll see you next week. Until next week, though, be good to yourself, be good to others. Peace.